Oh no, it's letting me screen record. Uh, Oprah Daily. I already read that one. This is what December 23rd, 2025. Miley Cyrus explains why gardening is the medicine that keeps her sober. September 23rd, 2025. Cyrus called it her medicine, explaining gardening is something you do for yourself. When we've shared so much of ourselves, having those, I'd have to click on it to see the rest. Um, well, just think about what not many days ago, many weeks ago, I was saying about corn. I'll go ahead and say this. Um, um, I was about 15 or 16 reading out of the book How to Win Friends and Influence Others, the revised edition of uh, um, Dale Carnegie. Oh, it's letting me do a screen recording amazingly for the first time in a little bit, and it might be because I restarted the phone last night. That could have something to do with it. I was blaming the Secret Service on it, or CIA. Well, anyway, might as well do it. Like, anyway, I've not been open too long. But this, I don't remember if this is pulling weeds or gardening or what. But this, I don't know if this is in the Northeast, wherever they were at. But it was like a little bit of an older couple. I don't know if it was in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or what. But this man's wife, or if there's 20s, 30s up, said his wife asked him to go garden with her. I mean, I don't know if it was like a vegetable garden or a flower garden. I don't, some people just do flower gardens. But um, he wasn't inclined to do it, I don't think, at first. But either way, he said he went and gardened with his wife and said they had some of the best conversation ever while they were doing it. I was reading that on the school bus, folks, when I read that account. So this is what I'd like for Melania Trump or the United States Supreme Court to do for me. I don't care if you put the Dr. Chris in prison. I want the John Maddox government, orthopedic surgeon Chris Younger, out of my life. They have no business with me. They have no business with my affairs. Ask one of the richest men in the world, President Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, that my sperm, my DNA, is not supposed to be a commodity. I'd like to know if people have ever paid money for it to get it. Anyway, uh, what I'm saying is on the school bus, I've read out of the Gary Sukoff book. I don't remember the title of it. When I was like 15, I mean, getting on the school bus in the morning, reading out of it. Went back when Gary Zukoff was on Oprah Winfrey. I've read a little bit out on the school bus, the How to Win Friends and Influence Others, and some other books. So some mornings on the school bus, I mean, I was minding my own business. So somebody's got a goal of just wanting to shame and humiliate me. Anyway, I don't know if I should say more to Miley Cyrus on this or not. I haven't said anything to her. I'll just say it. Miley Cyrus, uh, uh, I'm wondering if you're doing something passive and or whether it's avoidant personality disorder, stress-induced mania. What did I say last night? I'm wondering some of the things I read last night that you're like, oh, another wedding. Like, I don't want to do another traditional wedding. Like, it stresses you out. Um, I'm wondering if you're using uh, an engagement with Max to avoid a perceived wedding with me. Um, what else can I say? or if you're trying to what's the word I want to use? Not transcend, transference, some kind of transference. If you're trying to transfer the engagement with Max, like it's like subconsciously or some weird way, it's supposed to represent an engagement to Scotty, but then at the same time use it to avoid a big wedding. I'll just throw this out there without trying to cause you problems with you and Max. If you and I are supposed to marry, I'm gonna have to learn more about you day to day. You have to be so not caught up in Hollywood, Avatar, makeup. I don't know how to explain it. You'll end up having to be more like me than the other way around. Uh, um, I know if I ever do get married, I'm not looking for a traditional marriage. I'm not looking to be a slave, uh, or something close to that, Dolly Parton. And I'm not looking for a wife to be like that either. But there is supposed to be, like the Apostle Peter wrote, assign your wives honor so your prayers are not hindered. Um, um, think about how it says in the scriptures written by Apostle Paul. Look out for the other person's advantage and not that of your own. That includes your spouse. Um, anyway, in the Psalm 45, where it says, "Forget your people, forget your father's house," it says, "Bow down to your husband, for he's your true master." I'm so glad this went back to screen recording. I wanted to look that up yesterday and I forgot. Paul Rudd. According to JW.org, publications for a wife to bow down to her husband in marriage means showing him deep respect, willingly submitting to his headship. Psalm 45 is understood as a prophecy about Jesus Christ and his heavenly bride, serving as a pattern of respect and loyalty rather than a direct guide for human marriage. See, I don't get that. I don't get that. The latter part of it. I think they're trying to make to me things symbolic, but or think about how the Apostle Paul wrote, "Do not be denying each other of it, except by mutual consent." Let's see if I can find it. Go ahead and do this. Sexual relations, and he said the husband doesn't exercise control of his body in that regard. The wife does. Likewise for the wife, but keep in mind mutual consent. So not rape, blah blah blah. First Corinthians chapter 7, starting at verse 1. Now concerning the things about which you wrote, this is from the Apostle Paul. It is better for a man not to touch a woman, but because of the prevalence of sexual immorality, let each man have his own wife, and each woman have her own husband. Let the husband give to his wife her due. You see, right there, they could have in brackets sexual relations, bracket sexual relations, or a footnote there on her due. A footnote should go there for sexual relations to help people understand this better. And we're not talking about kids on this part, but like even even as young as 8 maybe, but man, 12 I meant to say on the what was it, John chapter 13, where John was leaning back on the bosom or chest to Jesus Christ, the one whom Jesus had affection for. He must have all but cuddled up to the Apostle John. And think about the embrace of King David, or before David was king, with King Saul's son Jonathan. I'm not going to look that up right now, but let the husband give to his wife her due, meaning sexual due, and let the wife also do likewise to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but her husband does. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but his wife does. Do not deprive each other except by mutual consent for an appointed time, so that you may devote time to prayer and may come together again, in order that Satan may not keep tempting you for your lack of self-control. However, I say this by way of concession, not as a command, but I wish all men were as I am, meaning single. Nevertheless, each one has his own gift from God, one in this way and another in that way. And keep in mind, Jesus Christ said few had that gift. Let's go to letter reference D in verse 7. It goes to Matthew chapter 19, verses 10 and 11. The disciples said to him, Jesus, if that is the situation of a man with his wife, it is not advisable to marry. He said to them, not all men make room for the same, but only those who have the gift. Y'all don't forget, and I'm not saying this to be mean to Miley Cyrus at all, just to throw it out there for consideration. Now, I hope she gets herself in a position whether in this scenario, I hope the holiday time somehow or another makes things less stressful for her. Or maybe she's going to be around some family members in a way that she's not as much, and I hope that's going to be a plus. There's some things I'm thinking, but I'm not going to say it in this recording. I said it last night. Some of it, I don't know. I don't know whether she needs to like just journal to herself, with or without Dr. Daniel Amen. I mean, just to figure out motives, intent. I don't know. Or the avoidant thing, or make a list of pros, cons, or what am I doing and why. But anyway, just to throw this out there. I did watch yesterday. At first, I wasn't going to watch it, over there in the bushes. I watched the thing on Jimmy Fallon. She's bringing up the dry hands, and I already knew that because I read it like the day before or 2 days earlier. But her talking about the gagging, and I've been prone, whether it's because of the cancer or wherever I'm going through, I have like it's not exactly nausea. I guess it is. It's either low level nausea or it's like pre that. Like every now and then, I can almost do it right now. If I could focus on a taste in my tongue, or like the air breathe in, or like when I'm drinking the strong tea, every now and then I can focus on a taste on the back of my tongue, and it literally it goes down to my stomach, and it makes me like want to gag. But I think that's probably a symptom of the cancer. And I've just first started doing that since about this time a year ago. I know one morning Lane showed up here and I could smell a cigarette and it's making me feel nauseated. But I was back on the peak of my onset of symptoms. I'll tell you something that's pretty good. For a while now, I haven't felt that pressure in my back lower spine. Have not felt it. And sometimes it was more common. Any of the following, I could feel it. Especially after I'd done that illegal substance. Should I say it? Starts with an M. Speed. But I'm not trying to incriminate myself. But some other occasions, maybe if I had need to take a bowel movement, because that could add to the pressure against the enlarged prostate. I gotta urinate. Anyway, maybe the government didn't take away my ability to screen record, but I think they were screen recording this anyway, since ever I got the phone. I don't understand this phone because I have to touch things even before I got activated. Like screen record, I gotta touch it more and more. Don't forget the scriptures in the Bible that Jehovah God will rid the land of bow, sword. Isaiah chapter 2, they'll learn war no more. See if I can look up another one. Scripture real quick. 1 Peter chapter 3. In the same way, you wives, be in subjection to your husbands, so that if are any not obedient to the word, they may be won without a word, through the conduct of their wives, because having been eyewitnesses of your chaste conduct, together with deep respect, do not let your adornment be external, the braiding of hair and the wearing of gold ornaments or fine clothing, but let it be the secret person of the heart, in the incorruptible adornment of the quiet and mild spirit, which is of great value in the eyes of God. For this is how the holy women of the past used to. For this is how the holy women of the past who hoped in God used to adorn themselves, subjecting themselves to their husbands, just as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. And you have become her children, provided you continue doing good and do not give in to fear. You husbands, in the same way, continue dwelling with them according to knowledge. Assign them honor as to a weaker vessel, the feminine one, since they are also heirs with you of the undeserved favor of life, in order for your prayers not to be hindered. So basically, if you're not assigning your wife or wives proper honor, or maybe even worse than a neutrality, some type of dishonor or disrespect, it could actually hinder your prayers to God. And well, then you wouldn't be doing the law of the new covenant, Galatians 5:14. Love your neighbor as yourself, treat your neighbor as you want to be treated. Verses 8 and 9 of this 1 Peter chapter 3. Finally, all of you have unity of mind. Let's see what the footnote says there on mind. Or think in agreement. Fellow feeling, brotherly affection, tender, compassionate, and humility. Do not pay back injury for injury or insult for insult. Instead, repay with a blessing, for you are called to this course, so that you might inherit a blessing. Now, on the fellow feeling thing, or all think in agreement, where it says that in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10, for all to think in agreement. Now, it doesn't mean do it in like a brainwashed way. Like, go ahead and correct him some more, like Tom the other night, last Wednesday. You know, when I was trying to tell him the timing of Armageddon, it's not at the end of the Great Tribulation. It's over 1,000 years later. Revelation chapter 20, after Satan the devil's let out of the abyss. Now, what I'm trying to say, you got people out there that it's like if Bethel said it, if Watchtower Bible Tract Society said it, it's gospel truth. I used to be like that some myself. But some people that prove the Bible to themselves, they're more objective. They are truly out for justice. And some people are easily brainwashed anyway. And what I'm saying there, You have people, I'm not saying that Bethel's trying to brainwash people. You have people that are susceptible to like a gang-like group mentality where they want to follow a leader. And then they unknowingly overly put faith in man. You can do it like the Apostle Peter put too much fear in man. He had too much fear, which was in a sense a lack of faith in God and Jesus Christ. Like, and Jesus Christ even told people, he's like, if you don't believe my sayings, believe the works. Put faith in the works. He's like basically saying, he's like, if I wasn't the Son of God, if I wasn't the Messiah, the anointed one, that prophet, the son of David, he's like, I wouldn't be able to do the works I do. He's like, if you don't believe what I'm saying, put faith in the works. And to give you hard evidence to put faith in his words. To supportive evidence, reinforce faith in the words. So what I'm going to say, further back, I used to think only Jehovah's Witnesses or publications with Watchtower Bible Tract Society could explain Revelation. I see that to not be the truth. And it's like, if they were in a hurry to create what I like, why have they not updated the timing of Armageddon? They don't do the breaking news thing on here anymore. I've got to pee. Well, anyway, it just doesn't make sense. I'm talking about something a little bit different than the Miley Cyrus engagement and this part of the Bible talk with marriage. But on JW.org and various publications, it teaches that the end of the Great Tribulation, after the United Nations plunders, attacks, destroys religion globally because of all the lies, spiritistic practices it teaches, is stated in Revelation 18, and this will be done by the 10 kings, or metaphorical 10 kings in Revelation 17. It just doesn't make sense for that to be Armageddon and then Satan to only be put in abyss and then released over 1,000 years later. Let's look at, to a degree, how the end of the Great Tribulation will be, which is soon to start for our time, whether it starts this year, next year, year after that. Well, it does talk about the lake that burns with fire. Okay, let's go to Revelation chapter 19 and read verses 19 through 21. And I saw the wild beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to wage war against the one seated on the horse and against his army. And the wild beast was caught, and along with it the false prophet that performed in front of it the signs with which he misled those who received the mark of the wild beast and those who worship its image. While still alive, they both were hurled into the fiery lake that burns with sulfur. But the rest were killed off with the long sword that proceeded out of the mouth of the one seated on the horse. So if it was a fiery Armageddon, why would there need to be more to be killed from the mouth? And all the birds were filled with their flesh. And if you get up to the top of this is contextually pretty soon, top of this chapter 19, after Babylon the Great is attacked. 19 verse 1. After this I heard what seemed to be a loud voice of a great crowd in heaven. They said, Praise Jah, the salvation, the glory, and the power belong to our God, because his judgments are true and righteous. For he has executed judgment on the great prostitute who corrupted the earth with her sexual immorality. And he has avenged the blood of his slaves that is on her hands. And he keep going down in this chapter. And verse 6 there, because Jehovah's, our God the Almighty, has begun to rule as king. That's been contextually after Babylon the Great has been destroyed. Pretty much soon as it's attacked, it'll be good as gone. It may take half a year, within a year and a half for some of it to some of the groups to fizzle out. I think Jehovah God, let's just say those numbers in Daniel, over 1,000. Let's say in the Daniel 12:1. Let's say once the Great Tribulation starts, it takes about 3.5 years, 4.5 years for it to be completed. I think he's going to have us, see the foundation of Christmas and things like that. Taylor Swift, Easter, Dolly Parton, go away, Walmart, Waltons, Amazon.com, Oprah Winfrey. And you look at it, a lot. The younger youth growing up today, be it like Larissa, Kidbury, they're more and more disengaged with not only the institution of religion, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. They don't care. It's on a shaky foundation anyway. And you can do some research out there, folks. In the past 10 plus 20 years, people affiliate with a religion even less and less. Does President Donald Trump, did President Joe Biden go to religious services when he was in office? Well, anyway, I'm just going to read verses 1 through 3 here, Revelation chapter 20, to let you know what the end of the Great Tribulation will be for the start of the 1,000 years. And I saw an angel coming down out of heaven with the key of the abyss and a great chain in his hand. He seized the dragon, the original serpent, who is the devil and the Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he hurled him into the abyss and shut it and sealed it over him, so that he would not mislead the nations any more until the 1,000 years were ended. After this, he must be released for a little while. And so during that 1,000 years is when Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Anne Frank, my mother, Paul and Gladys Scribbling, others, King David, King Solomon, John the Baptist, Noah, Moses, almost too many names to mention, are going to be resurrected to earth, not to heaven. And that's its own talk. Apparently, like at the start of the 1,000 years or right before it, the Apostle Paul, the Apostle Peter, they'll be resurrected to heaven. And it could be Garrett Loesch, Watchtower Bible Tract Society, that those that are alive of the heavenly class right before the 1,000 years, they could continue to live in the flesh up until after the end of the 1,000 years. Because that'll go with the scripture next when he hands over the kingdom. And I think that means that Jesus Christ is handing the kingdom back over to his Father. But still, and there could be a literal new heaven that descends out that's in the parameter of the 1,000 stadia by 1,000 stadia. I wouldn't be, you have to look in Revelation. I can't say the other dimensions. And Jesus Christ will reside in it. Jehovah God could actually also be creating a new heaven for him. Where the Revelation chapter 12, the war that broke out at heaven, starting at verse 7, the heavens would be cleansed. That could be metaphorically be a new heaven as well, but no more wickedness in it. Because apparently Satan the devil, until an appointed time, has the ability to go back and forth between heaven and earth. On that, I'll just leave it in regard to the flood. You look up Nephilim, and how they come to be, and who become the hybrid bullies. Or right before the flood, demons materialized human bodies because there's lusting after the human women, and they wanted to have sex with them, and they did, and they got them pregnant. But their offspring were big bullies that were sterile. They couldn't breed. That's partly why Jehovah God wanted the flood to happen, to wipe all of them out. I'm going to stop there.